The first one is about the S24 series. We've been talking about it being really heavy into AI, artificial intelligence, giving it features that weren't on previous phones that will be on this phone, and will probably trickle down to the older phones as well. But it's gonna be a big push, potentially calling the Samsung Galaxy S24 series the AI phone. How do we know this? Well, Samsung has registered some trademarks, AI phone being one of them. I don't think they'll get that because it's so generic, but maybe they'll get and call this Samsung Galaxy AI phone, something along those lines. And AI, remember, would give it just more functionality with doing things behind the scenes, improving the way you use the phone, improving your photos, automating things that you maybe already do without you having to physically set that up. That's what I mean by there's a lot of cool things that they can do with AI, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll see if they end up really marketing and calling this some kind of AI phone, but they're definitely trying to register trademarks for it at the very least. Our last story has to do with the Galaxy Z Fold 6. We've heard that potentially it might have a built-in S Pen on the side of the phone or on the back of the phone. We talked about this yesterday, and we talked about it weeks before that. Well, it might not come true. The latest information that's coming out is coming out from Ravegnas, and Ravegnas is saying that according to his recent research, there is a prototype of the Z Fold 6 with an S Pen, but due to the recent Huawei Mate folding being exceptionally thin and causing a shock to Samsung, Samsung is aiming to make the next fold even thinner. Therefore, the likelihood of the Z Fold 6 featuring an S Pen is considered low. So for me, I know I'm personally not needing a S Pen on my phone. I don't use it now. I won't use it probably if it's there, to be fair enough. Would I want this to be thinner? Yes. Do I want to sacrifice the battery so the battery doesn't get bigger? No. I would still like a bigger battery in there, and I want some prime time flagship cameras on there. I don't want something that's mid-tier, kind of like what we have now. I want the best of the best that Samsung has to offer. So it's nice to think about a thinner phone, but think about the things that they have to cut back on. That being, like I said, probably a smaller or the same size battery, and then cameras that aren't fully fleshed out with the best of the best. What are your thoughts? We're gonna dive right into the Exynos chip first, which is going to be coming to the Galaxy S24 phones in certain parts of the world again. And Exynos is still out there, it's been out there, but it looks like they're gonna rebrand it potentially as early as next year. The latest information is that they're gonna say goodbye to the Exynos chip and call it Dream Chip or Dream, Samsung Dream, and that's what it would be rebranded as. It would still be basically an Exynos chip. They're just renaming it, rebranding it to Dream, and I love that. I don't like the Exynos name. It gives me, when if I didn't know what it was all about, I heard that, it wouldn't turn me on at all. I do like the Dream name. I think that has a good connotation, is that the word, to it. I love it. So what do you guys think? Do you like the Dream name or Exynos better? Let us know in the comments down below. This is kind of a cool one. If you have a Windows computer, you can actually download the Samsung Internet Browser. I'll link it down below. I have a Windows laptop. I don't use it that much, but yeah, if you have a Windows computer, you can download Samsung Internet Browser and use it. So if you like all the features that are built into that and you like the look, feel, and finish of it, download it. Start using it on not only your Samsung phone and Samsung tablet, but also your Windows computer as well. And our last story of the day has to do with OneUI 6.1, which I finally got the official version of OneUI 6 on my Galaxy Z Fold 5. So if you're in America, have the Galaxy Z Fold 5, check to see if you had it. I got it because I was on the beta, and it was kind of a small update. It was like 400 megs, but very happy to see it in general. But 6.1 is right around the corner. That should launch in January with the Galaxy S24 phones. What are some things that we potentially might see with it in terms of features? Well, the folks over at SFC Nation have a little list saying that the OneUI 6.1 will fix an intense one-hand Operation Plus issue and optimize app functioning, so that one-hand Operation Plus will have some issues fixed and all of that. Also, the OneUI 6.1 is rumored to offer an Instagram camera shortcut for the lock screen of the S24. It'll also add in a Snapchat shortcut on the lock screen, so you'll have options if you want so that when you're on the lock screen, you want to instantly go into the Instagram camera or the Snapchat camera, you'll be able to from that lock screen. OneUI 6.1 on the S24 Ultra may also support viewing HDR photos in the gallery app, similar to Ultra HDR, and they get that from the Google Pixel side. And then lastly, we'll also bring some new features and bug fixes for crucial good lock modules such as Key Cafe and Clock Face. So, you know, not a ton of like what is just outside of the good lock family. The OneUI 6.1, there's not a ton of information about what it's going to bring, but a little bit of information on what to expect with OneUI 6.1. We should see a lot more than that. New features, new things, new this, new that. Not generational types changes, but incremental things. Today's deal is amazing. Really, really good. I'll link it down below, and hopefully it will take you into the Samsung Shop app, because that's how you're gonna take care of this deal. So you can get the phone, the Galaxy Z Fold 5, for as low as, this is all through the app, $1,349. Remember, this is a $1,799 phone, so if you buy it through the app, you're getting 25% off. And remember, $1,349 is with zero trade-in. You can just get it for that price. If you don't want to trade in a phone, or you don't have a phone to trade in, that's what you pay. Unlocked, you don't have to worry about it. You can bring in any carrier if you want. But then the other crazy deal is if you trade in a phone, you can get it for as low as $599 plus tax with a trade-in. So some of the phones are super old too, like Galaxy Z Fold 3, they're giving $1,000 worth of trade-in, same thing with the 4 as well. And then some of the older S21, 22 and 23 phones, I believe 21 as well, they're giving $1,000 trade-in. So amazing trade-in deals going on right now for the Z Fold 5, and then just regular amounts of money taken off. So I use the Z Fold 5 on a regular basis. It's my phone to use. It's not perfect, but it's my favorite folding phone right now that I'm using. So people that have it, let people know what you think about it. And then remember, even though the Z Fold 6 is gonna come out in about, 8-9 months, you're still gonna get good trade-in value for this. So let's just say you end up paying $600 for this phone, you'll be able to trade this thing in for $1,000 probably, most likely, when the Z Fold 6 drops in August or July of 2024. Man, Galaxy S24 series, we've been hearing that these base models, the 24, 24 Plus, were gonna come out with 12 gigs of RAM, and that the 24 Ultra would have as much as 16 gigs of RAM. And we've been hearing that up until now. Well, we got some somewhat bad news, if you want to call it bad news, for the Galaxy S24 series, and Ice Universe is putting his 100% confirmation into this, and this is what he is saying about the following. He's saying that the S24 will have 8 gigs of RAM, 24 Plus will come in 8 gigs of RAM or 12 gigs of RAM, so it depends on which version you get. 24 Ultra will come in 8 gigs of RAM base again, and 12 gigabytes max. There is no 16 gigabyte model. It does not exist. So that's the news here. So Samsung at one point, I think it was the S10 or 20, you could get a 16 gig model and you can get up to 1 terabyte of storage. And now you can get 1 terabyte of storage, but it took a while to get there, again, after they had done it that 1 year. And then the RAM hasn't really changed at all for years and years and years and years. Now, you have to talk about, does an 8 gigabyte phone still perform well? Is it still fast? Is it still fluid? It is. But then you look at, other phones that have already caught up to this, and then there's some Asian phones that are getting up to, I think, like 24 gigabytes, which is crazy on a phone. And you want to keep these phones for long periods of time, and having a lot of RAM and a powerful processor and GPU help with all of that performance, especially if you plan on keeping these phones for 5+ years. 12 gigabytes of RAM in 5+ years might be really, really low. It might be so low that as these operating systems add more features and add more functionality and add more need for power on there, 12 gigabytes of RAM might not be enough. 8 gigabytes probably definitely won't be enough. That's where I get worried. 2 years from now, you'll probably still be fine. You'll probably still have a nice, fast, fluid phone. And obviously, as Samsung hopefully improves the fluidity of their operating system, especially with the competition where Google's super fluid and Apple's fluid and OnePlus is fluid and all these other companies have really nice, fast, fluid operating systems. And Samsung sometimes can have a little hiccup or can be a little clunky, and it's not always the smoothest experience. RAM plays a big factor in that, especially with a heavy operating system like Samsung can be. Don't get me wrong, Samsung phones are still fast, they're still fluid, they're just not the most fluid of them all. And having low RAM amounts doesn't help the cause any. I wouldn't say you shouldn't upgrade. You know, S24 Ultra, I think, still looks like a badass phone. Still looks pretty amazing. But it's kind of a disappointment. After hearing so much that we're gonna get 16 gigs of RAM, it's a little bit of a disappointment. We've got a story for you for the S24 series. There's official photos, official specs, and more AI information that has been leaked out. Now, I wanna tell you that if you wanna see the official photos, I'll link them down below in the description of the video. I can't show them because Samsung will copy strike my channel, and I cannot be having that. But we can talk about the specs and everything about it. So let's go into that. So what was cool, and I can't show the photo, but it was kind of interesting. They had the S Pen on the back of the S24 Ultra in the official photo. So I'm wondering if it's gonna kind of sit on the back on there as well, or if it's just for the photo. But let's first start off with the S24, S24 Plus. 6.2 inch, full HD plus resolution on the regular 24. On the 24 Plus, they'll go back to Quad HD plus, so you'll get the 2K plus resolution on there with 120 hertz on both displays. The S24, it says comes with an Exynos 2400, but you gotta believe that's probably not in America. It's probably gonna be the rest of the world. It says the S24 Plus comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, but we've heard that it's gonna come with the Exynos 2400, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on that. Battery 4,000 and 4,900 milliamps, so good sized battery on that 24. Plus, you can see the main cameras and the cameras just in general, what to expect on there. Nothing earth-shattering, but it's kind of, again, what you would expect on here. 12 megapixel selfies on both of those. You got the RAM is set to 8 gigs of RAM and 12 gigs of RAM on the 24 Plus, but again, we've heard that it's gonna have 8 gigs of RAM on the 24 Plus as well. Storage amounts 5, 12, 256, and 128 on the 24, and 256 and 512 on the 24 Plus. Another difference here is that the Wi-Fi is supposed to be Wi-Fi 6E on the 24, and I believe it's gonna be 6E only on the 24 Plus, and Bluetooth 5.3 on both. 24 Ultra due to have a 6.8 inch Quad HD plus display, 120 hertz refresh rate, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, 12 megapixel dual pixel autofocus selfie camera. You can see the up to 200 megapixel camera. For the main cameras, you get the internal storage up to 1 terabyte or as low as 256. RAM, we've heard it's gonna have 8 gigs of RAM and 12 gigs of RAM. Battery, 5,000 milliamps, super fast charging, 2.0, which is only gonna be 25 watt. Bluetooth 5.3. It will have Wi-Fi 7 on the 24 Ultra, so not a lot of devices have Wi-Fi 7, so this would be one of the first on the mobile side that would have it, with ultra wideband, Corning Gorilla Armor, and titanium. And we're not done though, because I wanted to also talk about the AI stuff, because there's some big movements going on with that, and they released and talk about a little bit of what some of the features it's going to have. So they're saying that one of Samsung's key selling points for 2024 will be the implementation of AI in the 24 family. AI will power a variety of apps and features from the information we've obtained. The new 24 series will come with some exciting capabilities. Starting off, it's expected 24 phones will be able to translate messaging apps in real time, which will be especially handy for improved workflows and talking to friends around the globe. It is expected that this feature will support over a dozen languages. So if you like to translate in real time, this will be able to do it. Secondly, Samsung plans to incorporate generative AI that can help edit and improve your photos. I like this one where it's gonna make my photos look better. I'm all for that. Last but not least, the 24 line will offer enhanced search capabilities. You'll be able to highlight any given item on an image and find additional information for it thanks to Samsung's AI. Furthermore, we expect Samsung to play AI to play a pivotal role in the 24 family, and most likely more AI features will be shown at the Galaxy Unpacked event. After all, Samsung has registered 2 new trademarks, AI phone and AI smartphone, just a few days ago. And I am a huge fan of not only Samsung, but also AI in general. I have super high hopes for it. There's just so much you can do with it and to make your life easier. It's gonna be amazing and put more people on an equal playing ground with really everything. With everything from creating music to taking and making better photos to video editing eventually. Like, there's gonna be so many things that people don't know how to do now that they're, with a click of a button, they're gonna be able to do and be on an equal playing field as a lot of other people. So I'm very stoked about this, and 24 Ultra looks like a beast. I'm excited about that flat display. We've got two stories for you, both about the Galaxy S24 Ultra. As you know, I've been talking about, and I've linked to some official renders of the Galaxy S24 Ultra from Samsung, and I haven't posted them in terms of showing them on video format because they didn't want to get a copyright strike, but Ice Universe has been kind enough to update his render to match the official render of the Galaxy S24 Ultra, especially here on the front of the display. You can see, based on the official rendering of the S24 Ultra leaked by Windows Report, which we showed that the other day, this is what you see of the S24 Ultra after I changed the wallpaper. And when you look at this, guys, what do you think? Do you think that one of these things about the S24 Ultra is that it doesn't look all that different versus the last generation, but it still looks slightly different. I mean, I think what we're gonna notice here is that when you have this in hand, that's where you're gonna really feel and notice a lot of the changes. And then lastly, also about the Galaxy S24 Ultra, is the camera. We heard earlier that the camera, especially the telephoto camera, is having some issues with quality of photos, and it looks like a lot of that stuff is being ironed out in this oven because the latest S24 Ultra firmware and camera software are gradually improving. The camera is doing well, and you can look forward to it, which I really didn't have any doubt. I can't imagine Samsung or really any other manufacturer is gonna know that they have new cameras or updated cameras and they push something out and it's just not up to snuff to the point where it's really, really noticeable to everybody. I guess you could probably say I was wrong, and the companies have done that, and they probably have, but I don't know, it just seems like they wouldn't do such a thing this blatantly. So, you know, it's not a big surprise that that's happening, and obviously as the phone matures, they're gonna put more and more updates out. Even, you know, 6 months down the road, the camera will probably perform a little bit better even than it did when it first came out, just because of little inklings of updates and features that are being pushed out to it. And remember, AI is gonna play a major, major part with photos on the S24 series of phone. We've got two stories for you, both about the S24 Ultra, and let's just dive right into it, because we're seeing a comparison of the S24 Ultra next to an S22 Ultra, at least manufactured renders of what it's going to look like. And Ice Universe was kind enough to do this for us, and you can see right here. And if you see the S24 Ultra on the left, 22 Ultra on the right, if I'm not mistaken here, because to me it looks like we're getting a flatter display on the S22 Ultra like you would, and you can see a little bit of a curve, at least it seems to my eyes, on the right with that S22 Ultra. And you know, when you see these again side by side, you know, when you take a really, really quick look, you don't see a ton of things. When you look deeper, you might see some thinner bezels, obviously. You might see a smaller camera punch hole. You might see a flatter display. But again, when you look at these super quickly, you probably, at least I wouldn't probably honestly notice much of a difference. And you know, it's something that you can probably expect with it. But we're not done, guys, because the exclusive colors of the S24 Ultra are coming out as leaked here. And you can see blue, green, and orange. And you know, it makes me think, like, are those gonna be like fluorescent? Are they gonna be more pale pastel colors? Are they gonna be traditional blue, green, and orange? Like, what are they gonna actually look like? That would be the better question out of all of this. And if I had to choose, depends on like the color of everything. If it was like a powder blue, probably wouldn't choose it. If it was like a I don't know, cool looking blue, like I don't know, maybe not traditional kind of blue, but like some kind of other blue, maybe that. The green, you know, if it was like fluorescent or fluorescent orange, I might choose just because it's so different. But if it's like a dark green, again, I don't mind dark green, but it's not very exciting. And then orange, I don't know, maybe. If it's like the tangerine S23 FE, maybe, just because it's a little bit different. What about you guys? Out of those exclusive colors, which one would you choose? Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you down the road. Peace!